Good evening, guys. It's Simon with Trading Perform Coaching. Wanted to do a quick trade review of today, kind of review what happened, what we were looking for in the morning, and then what actually transpired and how we could take advantage of it. So I had a difficult day. And I want to address this real quick early. So first of all, I hurt my back this weekend somehow. I am totally fine. There's no issue there, but did not sleep well at all last night, and I really limited the number of trades that I was willing to take, and I'll go into that in just a moment. But I want to emphasize, when you don't feel 100%, you've got to limit the amount of activity you're willing to take during the trading day, or you're asking for trouble. So let's start off. Coming into the day, obviously we know we had the terrible events that occurred in France. Overnight we traded down to 19.99. The first thing I pointed out in the room this morning while we were trading was that we were in trend up mode from the overnight session, and until this trend up mode broke, right, which was pretty much this right here, and until that broke, we were obviously buyers had it, right. The next significant question that I said, and I put this in the trade review last night, so look, even without the zones, how you can kind of piece this puzzle together, right? It's not incredibly hard. So I said, first of all, are we above Globex high, Globex low? Right, so Globex high came in, I believe, like right in here at 2024, let's call it. That's a guesstimate, but I think that's right. Okay, we'll mark it like this. This was prior days. All right, so I said we wanted to kind of look whether NQ and ES were in sync, whether we were above or below Friday's low. It was really incredible. And actually, this is a 24-hour chart, so let's actually resync this real quick to a daily. So we had this 24-hour uptrend. Let's fix this here real quick. Okay, so to kind of give a situational awareness of where we were, Globex low was about right here. Globex high was about right here. Swing low on Friday. That was Friday's low right there. Show that yellow. And so right out of the gate, we're opened up. We have it. And then I said the other thing we would watch for is potential open drive higher. And so right out of the gate, first of all, we're above Globex low, right, clearly. We trade above Friday's low. And then we get above Globex high, right? We do a retrace, but we never penetrate back below Friday's low. So you already know, in order to have a weak day, a down day, you have to be able to get below Friday's low. That's just, there's nothing more to it. It's pretty straightforward. Next, if you'll look, and I posted in the StockTwits stream and the Twitter stream, I posted that we are at the end of multiple down days, that I will not get bearish in the hole. I just cannot afford to do it professionally. It's against my better interest to do so. And I discourage others from being bearish in the hole. So if you look and we continue to plot through here, the other area that was key for the day is the first hour high, right? And if you're in the room, you'll see, of course this is aimed toward people in the room, like I said, if we get below and close below 2030 and hold below it, right, and I guess really it was kind of what, 2028 to 2030, right, that if we get back below into that structure, that sellers would have it and we push down. If not, what's the inverse of buyers having, of sellers being in control below 2030 is buyers are in clear control over 2030. One of the other principles that I really espouse in the room is the idea of shorting, A, reducing trade size in the afternoon, but B, doing less in the afternoon, particularly on the short side. Occasionally, what happens is, as I've discussed before, so we get people who get all geeked up about how much downside we've had. They look at this, they look at this, they look at the week closes, and they just kind of start dogpiling in. We get everyone to dogpile in, and you end up with a situation like this. And basically what happened here was we absorbed a huge move up in the overnight session. We consolidated that move in the first half of the day. People were trying to figure out which way they wanted to go. Too many shorts piled in here. figuring we get to the open gap that's sitting at 2008, or come down and test that 1999, 2000 again. Too many shorts build up, they get trapped, we break out, failure to trap back below on that move in the afternoon, and then the inevitable hard move to the upside. And here's my point about this. People, it seems to me from a one-on-one coaching perspective, when I am coaching people, that what happens is people will work really hard to capture these moves, but in reality, they actually don't make that much money on these downside closes. They make 2 or 3 points. But what I've noticed is in moves like this, they'll lose 5 to 10 points. Okay, so obviously that's not a solution that's working. If you're making 2 to 3 over here and you're losing 5 to 10 now, obviously if these shorts were done right, you made a lot more money. I'm not arguing that. I'm just saying most people don't do them right. They don't execute them correctly. And for retail traders, people who are trying to learn how to trade futures, which is what this blog and what the trading room is aimed towards, helping those people and improving their game, just simply sidestepping this mess in the afternoon, right? Just not worrying about the short side trade for all of this, so that you don't get clocked over here when the market breaks to the upside, is a huge benefit, right? The next part that I want to say, and I'm going to go look at it zone by zone in just a second, is that we wanted a long in the room. I said 2017.75. This is where I wanted to get long, was right in here. I was never able to get this test for the push to the upside. That was unfortunate. It was actually right in here before lunch. It was the place I was looking long. I just couldn't get it. That's all there was to it. Don't feel terrible about that. Just didn't happen. I had the right call. And then I did not, again, late in the afternoon, you don't see me calling shorts. As a matter of fact, I felt terrible this afternoon. I wasn't even here to short it. I don't trade when I don't feel well. So let's go look at the zones really quick. Remember, I look at the zones just from the most basic perspective. And I said this morning, if you feel like shorting, right, be cautious. We're way in the hole, and we're due for a bounce. So let's look at how this works. So obviously this is open drive higher right out of the gate right here. And I'm pretty sure no one in the room got caught. I pretty much told everyone to stand aside on this zone. Conversely, I did not catch this 2028 because, again, this is the beginning of open drive higher, and my concern was that we would get this result here in the morning instead of kind of coming back and filling, that we would just get this push straight away. And so I chose not to trade in the first half hour. We obviously opened, drove very hard. This is actually a 50-60 retrace right here of the original move to the upside. And really the market was pretty indecisive in the morning. We couldn't decide whether we were going to come back. I was hoping that we could either come back into this 17.75, which is where I wanted a long, or I identified pretty long market. I wanted a long at 2008.50. We couldn't get either one of those. So that being said, this was also a hard read for a second reason, and I'm going to show you where the actual read of the day came in, and that was over in NQ. If you look, while all that noise is going on, NQ opened up, also got above Friday's low. Then it pushed into, this is the bottom end of the old channel. Right here is what this line is. And we obviously pushed right up to it. We pushed down, unable to push to a new low. But if you look at ES this same time when this occurred, this occurs time-wise at 10:30 in the morning. So if we go back and look at ES at the same time, ES is nowhere near a new low. And then I pointed out, while we were in the room, I said it, and I know at least 2 people caught this upside move. And I pointed out, when we were here, I said if ES closes back above 44.95 on a 5-minute bar, it's a second trap, and it could elevate us to the upside. Furthermore, there was one more piece of evidence for the upside move, and I pointed out that this downtrend was a multiple day. This is 3 days worth of downtrend, right? So you can see after 10:30, we close above that downtrend line, and we never get back underneath, right? The last hope to really get a push to the downside would have been this close below 2030 right here. Really, it needed to close below 2028. Couldn't do it. Traps back above, shoots to the upside. So lastly, let's look at how the zones worked for the day, right? Because I do this for the people in the room, just so that we have an acting run, which is an acting move, which is if you just threw everything out, you didn't follow any of the rules, you just took the first touch of the zones. Okay, so let's go see how that would have worked out. It would have been actually a difficult day just on the face value of that. So we open up, right? We open up above the zone. Excuse me, right here. We open up above the zone. We backside test into the zone right out of the gate and push. This zone gets busted. There's no question about it. I warned everyone to sidestep it. I don't think anyone got hurt, but the zone busted. This zone first time in. So this zone would have cost you anywhere from 2 to 4 points depending on your stop, right? This zone would have made you anywhere from 2 to 4 points depending on how you entered and how you held that rotation, right? This is second time in. There's no trade here. This is first time into the zone, so I'm going to follow it, right? Open, zone holds, this zone busts, this zone holds, this zone, first time in, holds, gives a rotation up. This is second time in, there's no zone, there's no trade here. Second time in, there's no trade here. There's no trade here. There's no rotation. I needed to at least get some extension below before I take a trade to the downside. This zone's already been traded. There's no trade here to take one way or the other. That makes this the next location from 2034.76. And actually the zone was 2034.25 if I recall correctly. I think I moved this. We rotated down. We had a very small rotation right in here. And again, it was the afternoon. I'm very much cautious on shorts in the afternoon. That's all I can say. You got a small hesitation right here. If you look, we spent 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes in this trade location before it continued on. You should have, let's see if that would have actually stopped you or not. 20.35 and 3/4. Oh, didn't mean to do that. Let's erase all this. You would have survived this right here. If your stop is placed properly and you're 2 points behind the zone, you entered at 20.34 3/4, you survived this trade for a flat. Generally speaking, the zone needs to work within 20 minutes maximum. Right? Friday's high was not a zone. The zone was 20.34, 25 3/4. Finally, we get to the open gap. If you look again, the open gap pushed through from 20.40 3/4 down to 20.38.50. You should have been able to get a 2-point scale out of that. Again, late in the afternoon, sticking to short at the end of the day is very difficult business, all I can say. We push up into the zone right here, this 20.45, 5, 10, 15, 20. I do not know, 48. Obviously, the back of the zone here is 47, so 49 would have stopped. You probably got stopped on the zone again. It's the last hour. I do not take shorts in the last hour. And then finally to 20.49.50 to 20.51.50 gives a small rotation down. But I don't want to whitewash the zones. Usually the zones give great rotations, not on trend day up. If you'll look at the market preview that I posted again, I stated that I was not in any way bearish. But I thought we were probably buried too far down, that we'd already experienced essentially a 100-point rotation lower. And we were due for a pop to the upside. Unfortunately, the pop to the upside didn't give us the one key entry we wanted, which was 20.17 3/4 to the upside. And so you just kind of have to shrug your shoulders and go, well, okay, didn't give me the trade today. I'm not going to sit here and fight it all afternoon. And then also notice, the other thing to notice is the complete disappearance of counter rotation. So guys, once again, I'll state it before, I'll state it again, the zones break the market down in the simplest possible terms that I have or that I can note. But sometimes the market just doesn't cooperate. It doesn't give us the entry we want. The mark of a professional trader is knowing what the entry they want and then being willing to wait for it to get it, or not turning around and going all militant on the market and just fighting it for the sake of fighting it, right? Having a reason for taking the trade that's logical, fits into your larger trade plan, a written trade plan preferably. So my job is to help traders move from frustration, from losing, to consistent profitability. That's what I do. If you'd like to join the room for a couple of days, I have a 5-day free trials. Just send me an email to tradingperform@gmail.com. I hope everyone had a wonderful day and made money. Remember, it's a big market. There's a lot of time. Not every day is completely tradable. Not every day has to be shorted. The market doesn't go in one direction, guys. But you can make money at this if you have a proper trade plan and a written trade plan. And you have the ability to emotionally execute the deal. So anyways, I hope everyone had a wonderful day. We'll talk to you soon. Have a great night.